College Football National Championship, it is here. I am joined by Joel Klatt. I will be honest, there is no better, more knowledgeable voice in all of college football than the man right here. Honor, privilege. Get comfortable in your chairs, turn your volumes up. Everything that you need to know will be discussed in the next 8 to 12 minutes, give or take. It depends on how long my brain can endure all the wisdom you're about to give me. Okay, let's start here. My Longhorns, they lost to the Huskies.
That's right.
Huskies beat them. Michael Penix played absolutely phenomenal. Obviously, this is the best Texas team since I was there in 2009. Yep. Did the best team win between these two teams, Washington, Texas?
Listen, I think overall Texas would probably claim to be the better team. This is why they were favored. However, it was a bad matchup for Texas. And as you know, it becomes more about the matchup. Just in the last segment, you were talking about it's not your hand, it's the dealer's hand. Sir. And in this case, the dealer, Washington, had the hand that was going to beat you, the Longhorns. The problem is that Michael Penix is such a good passer of the football. And when you're bringing in a 94th ranked passing defense in the country, that's a bad matchup. The secondary was going to be no match for the talent that Washington was going to have on the field. Yeah. So because of that specific matchup, I favored and picked Washington in that game.
Michael Penix, he to me is one of the best throwers of the football that we have seen in college football. Yeah. It's his timing, it's his accuracy, it's his anticipation. How does Michael Penix stack up to the Caleb Williams of the world? How does he stack up to the Drake Mays of the world? Is he a better pro prospect in your mind than some of those great names?
He's more pro ready. You know, those other guys, even Caleb's going to have to develop a little bit in terms of the way that he plays. Like Patrick Mahomes had to develop and take his skill set, which was unique from Texas Tech, and then develop that at the NFL level. Caleb's going to have to learn a lot of those same things. The most pro ready quarterback might be Michael Penix because of the things that you're talking about. You said an interesting phrase, and I want to take a little deeper here. You said he's a great thrower of the football, right? Well, to me, yes, but he's also a great passer of the football, and there's a difference between the two. And let's just talk about it in terms of percentages and odds. A great wide receiver is going to be a great wide receiver in a 50-50 situation. This is what makes great talents on the outside, is that they can go and win in a 50-50 situation. But what happens when your quarterback puts the odds in your favor if you're a great wide receiver? And that's exactly what Michael Penix does, because he throws with terrific leverage. So he's passing the football to these great wide receivers with proper leverage away from the defense. So let's just bring it up right here. You're a defender right here, okay? Let's say I'm running a fade route like this. This ball is never from Penix going to bring me closer to the defender where you now have an opportunity. He's always going to bring me outside away from the defender. So every single time that you're seeing Michael Penix throw the ball down the field, what you're seeing him is he's taking his wide receiver away from the defense. That type of leverage passing is what makes him so good and so dynamic, and it's very difficult to stop.
This is invaluable insight we're getting. Well, now let's focus on Michael Penix's potential opponents. It was Michigan, it was Alabama. You and I were both at the Rose Bowl, a phenomenal game. The atmosphere was absolutely electric.
It was great.
But as we talk about Michigan, as we talk about Bama, did the best team win in that matchup?
Yes, they did. Michigan, for the entirety of the season, was the more complete and the more dominant team. It just so happened that the last time we saw these two teams, it was Alabama beating Georgia and ending that 29-game winning streak and the two-time defending national champions. And it was Michigan not playing great against Iowa. And it's not an Iowa team that we thought very highly of. So, and I fell into this trap as well here, I thought a lot of people got spooked off of Michigan because of
Let's spin it forward now, because this is what's absolutely most important. Of everything we've discussed now, here's the most important conversation we can have. Now you got Michael Penix.
Yeah.
Now you got Michigan. Championship game. Michigan, they have the #1 total defense in football, #1 scoring defense in football, #2 pass defense in football. But Washington and Michael Penix, they have the #1 pass offense in football. There's no greater matchups to me than unstoppable force, immovable object. Immovable object, Michigan defense. Unstoppable force, Washington offense. Who are you giving the early advantage to?
I would lean towards Michigan, and the reason is that defense is not built on one aspect. It's not just a great secondary. It's not just a great corner. It's not just an elite pass rusher. It's actually a collective, all 11 doing their job at the same time. So what you're going to see from Michigan is a pass rush that collapses the pocket holistically, pushing in particular into the lap of Michael Penix. That's what the tackles did to Milroe. That's what they've been doing all year. The last thing that I would say about this is that this Michigan team and this version since COVID, when Jim Harbaugh almost lost his job, he went and he built a team specifically to do one thing, and it wasn't win a national championship. It was beat Ohio State. And in 2000 2020 and 21, what did Ohio State look like? C.J. Stroud, Jackson Smith and Jigba, Garrett Wilson, Chris Olave. It was basically a version of what they will see against Washington. Now, you can make an argument that this Washington team is a better version of that Ohio State team because Penix is playing on a different level. And I'm here for it, right? I think it's going to be a great game. I just think that Michigan's ability to match up with what Washington does is going to be hard for the Huskies. The Huskies basically have one path to victory. Penix goes off. Michigan has four paths to victory. Run the football, limit possessions, beat them up on the defensive line, get a turnover, get a couple of stuff. There's a lot of things that can happen for Michigan. That's why I'm going to pick the Wolverines.
This is a conversation y'all literally cannot get anywhere. This is my final thought for you. Jim Harbaugh, a lot of controversy this season. Rumored to go to the National Football League to become a head coach. There's a team in Los Angeles that doesn't currently have a coach. Jim Harbaugh, outside of coaching at Michigan, has always coached in California. Does Harbaugh make sense to leave after bringing Michigan back to a national championship for the first time in 24 years? Or does he need to win it to leave? If he loses, does he leave? What are the scenarios that play out in your head?
You know, I don't know if the outcome of next Monday's game is going to affect what happens with the future of Jim Harbaugh. I think what has more of an effect on the future with Jim Harbaugh is the pending punishment from both the infractions that they've been notified about, stemming back to recruiting violations, and the investigation of the Connor Stallion sign-stealing operation. I think Jim is facing upwards of 8 or more game suspension next year. Why would you want to go through with that? He's also a guy that wants to come back and do something very specific, which is return Michigan to its proper place in their mind on the college football pantheon. And if he's able to do that on Monday night and win the game, I think that he would probably move on and avoid what's going on in the future and go ahead and try his hand again at winning a Super Bowl. Think about how painfully close he came to winning a Super Bowl.
Right.
Reaching the echelon of his profession. And if he could bring Michigan back and go win a Super Bowl, I think that's something that would be attractive to him.
Well, regardless of the outcome, definitely one having this conversation.
Yeah,
we all did. Privilege. Joel Klatt, you're really the most brilliant mind for my money.
I appreciate that.
College football.
It's good to be with you guys. Well, first of all, Happy New Year and have a great week.
Thank you, brother.
Now, real quick, you did a great job. Now, I'm not as great in college like I am in the NFL.
Yeah, there you go.
But I told a gentleman, I said, I know you went to Texas, but listen, they will not win this game. Not last week. 2 weeks ago, I told him this. And guess what he did? He didn't believe me. But now you see what happened.
Is that gentleman standing here?
You're looking at him.
We're looking at him.
You're looking at him.
Shocker.
Okay, can they stop
Shocker.
looking at me? Can we roll the tees, please?
There
Can we
it
roll
is.
the tees? Thank you.
See you.
All right, family. When we return, Eagles, they are limping into the playoffs. They have struggled. Jalen Hurts, how much of the blame should he get? That's next on Speak. How about it for Klatt, man? Thank you, Klatt.
Yo, you need to be a GM, though.
Wait, let's do it.
You know he knows something.
Subscribe here to get the latest from Speak and go watch a few segments from our other shows on FS1.